how are you? Welcome to your November 2016 Love and General Tarot card readings. Quick reminder to find me on Instagram and Facebook. I put the links down below. I interact a little bit more, a little bit better there, just because it's a little bit easier now. But anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get started on... Whoops. Your love energies, okay? Well, here you are, okay? Well, I mean, I'll start in the center, actually, with the Queen of Wands. Here you are. And, you know, Queen of Wands, a nice, forceful, good, progressive energy. One thing about her is she's very forward-looking. Right? Very good at leaving the past behind, letting bygones be bygones, and just moving forward. Sensitivity-wise, while we all have emotions and we all have, you know, things that we hang on to or that we think about or that we long for, she's a good energy to have when you're dealing with something maybe a little bit more dramatic or something a little bit more serious. Now, the Tower is a major arcana. Okay, we have a couple or a few of those here. And the Tower is something challenging. For some of you, it could be a breakup. For some of you, it even could be the beginning of a new relationship. For some of you, it could just be something extraneous, something around you or in your life that comes in and affects you, effectively, you know, really shattering the way you thought things were or the way you thought things should be, and forcing you to switch gears and to look forward and to look in new places, look in places that maybe you haven't really examined before. And very decisively, another thing about the Queen of Wands, she is very decisively choosing a new path and choosing a new direction. Now, the Two of Wands is an independent energy. Whether you are in a relationship or whether you're totally single, doesn't matter. And it's just a feeling, you know, a feeling of, I want my world to be different. I want something in my life to change. And the formulation of that and the definition of that can be hard sometimes to figure out and hard sometimes to really put your finger on. But once you do, once you have that idea of where you want to go, this is the energy that will just start going there. And almost effortlessly, without really a lot of issue or a lot of concern for the past. Obviously, something happened, right? Many of you may have left partners, okay? Again, the dramatic aspect of the Tower, breakups, getting together, leaving behind your singledom. You know, some of you might be plunging into a committed relationship. But I do sense a little bit, I do sense a longing for what was, for that past person. If you left someone, they're still with you in some way. Or if you're now moving into a committed relationship, your singleness and having your freedom and having that independence. But it's okay. right? Like I'm sensing a sense of peace. Now I'm kind of feeling like this Empress is someone else, right? Here you are, and here is this person. And let me see here, because this one kind of was, I don't know why, but when I pulled this guy out, I kind of felt like it was associated with the Five of Cups. I mean, it is connected here, and it is connected with you. This person is frantically running away from you. You are looking away from them. Very likely many of you had a split or will split. Maybe you are desiring that, and maybe that's the new direction that you want to go, right? And deciding that this is not the relationship for me. This person might be a little bit too free-spirited, maybe a little bit too challenging, a little bit too confusing. Maybe it's hard for you to read them or to really understand what it is they're thinking. Maybe they are not the best communicators, and maybe they don't text you back quickly enough, or they don't, this is a very, I'm not going to say an anti-committal person. That's not the case with the king, or I'm sorry, with the Knight of Swords, in my mind, the way I interpret it to be. But it just doesn't necessarily know how to meet you halfway. You're very much more mature, more put together, stronger, better, in terms of life, right? Your life is maybe a little bit more settled, more concrete, a little bit more figured out. This person, no. The Knights are effectively, transient energies. They tend to come and go in and out of our lives. They are on horses. They are movement, or they're indicative of movement, and they're indicative of, why else do you have a horse but to get from one place to another, right? Or, in the essence of the Knight itself. And I'm kind of feeling that maybe you are agreeing to disagree, or you're agreeing to move on and to find something else. And I don't know how much you love this person or how much you care for them. I'm sure you do, but there's a lot of self-interest here. There's a lot of, well, yes, I love them, of course I do, but they are not for me. We live our lives in two very different ways. There may have been a chemistry between the two of you, air and fire type of vibes, air or fire needs air to survive. It needs it to exist. And I feel like maybe this person was very exciting for you and ignited some level of fantasy for you. If this speaks to you in terms of your partner, it could be just a phase, right? There could have been, they could have sort of taken on this energy. I'm not seeing necessarily a dramatic split if you are together. Of course, you will soldier on and you will move away from some of the issues that you've been dealing with. And I think you'll be able to get back to this Two of Cups position, right? Because we have the Two of Cups here. If you are in a relationship, both of these energies are indicative of your partner. If you're single, most likely an ex or someone that you're currently dating that maybe is not really working out so well. And then someone else, someone much higher caliber and much more on par with you. Also much more interested in you as well. With that chemical Two of Cups, or that Two of Cups chemistry, Two of Cups is a deep connection, a deep sense of love, and a deep sense of, intertwined souls, but not just on the surface level, not just in terms of passion, but also in terms of compatibility. A lot of times, with a lot of the love cards and tarot, a lot of times I do see them as being short term. There's only a few cards that come out where I say, okay, well, this could be a relationship that is for either forever or for the very long term. Two of Cups is one of those cards. And this is like I say, someone that is on par with who you are. If you don't know who this person is, then they may be coming. This might be someone that doesn't show up for a while. Okay, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen in November, right? They might sort of work their way into your life somehow. Two of Wands. It's like you are making a decision to change direction. You're making a decision to make the positive, or to choose a more optimistic and positive outlook on something that is a struggle, a split, a breakup, or something else that occurred in your life that's bringing challenges, or bringing hard things to you. And here you are, looking on, charging forward, soldiering on the way you do. And as you're doing that, as you're so focused in your independence and your own path and what it is you want to do, and and taking the appropriate actions to achieve your goals, the Wheel of Fortune kicks in. And if you've been watching me for any period of time, you know that this is one of my favorite cards, because it means it's like the prime time, that this is when things are going to happen, when things are going to really take shape, and that this is someone that you truly deserve, and someone that can truly offer you what it is you want. Now, there may be some clinging to this person, whether it's out of obligation, whether it's out of, even financially for some of you. Again, someone that ignited a flame within you that you really found intriguing. There might need to be some form of moving away from that and taking responsibility for your own direction, right? And your own path, and leaving something behind. Sometimes in order to achieve love and passion and true compatibility, and even to reach that from, our existing partner, someone that maybe we went through something challenging with, you need to leave those hard times behind. You need to forgive and forget. To an extent, okay? I mean, we can only have so many second chances, People are human. They do make mistakes, but also don't cling to something, and don't stay obliged for something that might hurt you in the future. This is a very reckless energy. It's very careless. It's very haphazard. It doesn't necessarily have regard for your feelings or anyone's feelings, and can be very selfish at times as well. And who, like I say, this is my bull in the china shop card, just charging through without thinking, without looking at the surroundings or the environment, and just going for it, which can be great in certain circumstances, but in relationships, there really needs to be that give-take. There's not, which is why I think that you are transitioning into something else. Your mind is like, okay, it's really needed for me to take new steps in a new direction. And here you are, and you're doing it, and whether that's a new direction with your partner, or a new direction, meaning you get rid of the person you're dating and you move on to someone else, or even just focus on yourself for the time being, I think it's... that's just the natural progression. That's just what needs to happen. The Tower is, is an inevitability, and I always say that about the major arcana. It's something that inevitably will happen. It inevitably will come across your path. So if something has been building for a while, out of sadness, out of regret, out of frustration, out of, like if you have been... hanging on to something, maybe not someone, but maybe an issue that you had with your partner, or a problem that maybe you experienced a few months ago, or a fight that you had from a while back. Maybe just now it's just starting to surface. Maybe just now it's starting to like blow up, and things are starting to be honest, and things are starting to get real. And that reality can be really eye-opening. Okay, now you're going to be faced with a decision. Do you stay or do you go? What makes the most sense for you? Okay. I feel a lot of you may be moving on. Whether physically or emotionally moving on from an issue, which is good, which means that this is just a temporary in and out. Things came, they blew up, they calmed down real quick, and then now you're moving on. There's love here. So if this is your partner and you're married, and there's genuine feelings of love and caring there, and that this may have truly been a mistake. This behavior, this attitude, this character may have just been a lapse in judgment. Can you see it for what it is? Can you see them for the Empress that they are? For the caring, nurturing, wonderful partner that they are? Again, if you're single, I think a lot of you will say, I don't need this in my life. I want this. And this may be someone that you already know, the Empress. It may be someone you already know. Eights are associated with strength in the major arcana, and it takes willpower to leave. It takes willpower to leave everything that's comfortable and known and the things that you understand, and to be able to move into an unknown terrain and you know, maybe a little bit more of a you know, more emotional hazards, more emotional vulnerability there. The 3. Actually, that top one again, I think. Yes, moving away, moving on, the Magician, and Temperance. When the Magician comes out, I can always see it going so many different ways. Like, the Magician is great in terms of inner power and strength and like a force within us. But then I also get the, you know, the trickery and the foolery and pulling the wool over people's eyes. And one thing that always speaks to me with this is that truth and that inspirational spark of where we feel that we know something, and trusting that intuition, but not in like the quiet high priestess way, but in a very loud, it's almost as though your intuition is screaming at you kind of way. It speaks to you with your inner power, and it goes very well with what I just said, you know, 8s being associated with strength. Well, you have the power within you to move on, to move away. If some of you are concerned of leaving a partner, maybe you're concerned about the financial aspect of it, maybe you're concerned about the you know, the living situation or the children, or maybe there's extraneous factors, or there's a business involved or something like that. Well, the Magician is power, and Queen of Wands is power. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate your ability to rebuild after this situation. Don't underestimate your ability to build a quality life after struggle, life after strife, right? You will find peace. I love the 6 of Swords. It is a very peaceful spiritual journey, finding peace with moving on, finding peace with the way the wheel is turning. And a point of acceptance, okay? A point of acceptance of behavior, a point of accepting that you forgive, and that yes, you will forgive, you will forget, and you will move on. And you won't hold grudges, you won't hold it against them. Or that you will completely just say, I'm done. I don't want this relationship in my life. I'm going to seek someone better, someone more. I feel like a lot of you, this is going to speak to you in the same person, and this is a relationship within your, or this is a relationship that you're having. Totally single to different people, but for most of you, I feel like it's someone significant in your life, and that you are being faced with a choice of holding something against someone and changing your life because of that, or forgiving and forgetting and having to learn to live and accept it and just allow it to be what it was and moving on and finding that peace, right? And sometimes it can be very challenging. Now, those swords, it's very difficult to forget, the forget part, the forgive and forget. And sometimes we never forget. We never, can fully move away from it. But at least this is a story of trying. A story of trying to reach those smoother horizons and remove yourself from the rocky waters that are the tower energies, and to find peace. This is about peace. This whole reading is about finding not solitude, but tranquility, calmness in the relationship, calmness within yourself. And this is very much a choice that you must make, and that your partner is merely, it's because of your partner that this is happening, or because of someone you're dating that this is happening. I feel a little bit as though maybe you were victimized, quote unquote, victimized a little bit by the circumstances, as opposed to you being the one causing the issue. It's more about their lapse in judgment, their behavior, their character, and you are being forced to move on, physically or emotionally. So, interesting reading for you this month, Capricorn. I hope it all works out for you. Let's focus on the general energies, okay, for you for November, focusing a little bit more on finance and career and just general relationships and anything else that you might need to be aware of, okay? Oh, I don't like shuffling like this, but I don't want to bend these cards. I'm not very good at shuffling this way. Ten of Pentacles in the center is interesting. I always kind of see that card as like that feeling of things falling apart. Okay, not to be negative and not to be start off. Well, we have the Empress and Temperance again, Queen of Cups, Star, Four of Wands, Six of Wands, and the Moon reverse. Well, it's a positive outcome. I just kind of feel like maybe, and this could be a result of the Tower energies as well, because sometimes when things go wrong in one part of your life, it's hard not to carry them into other parts and allow it to affect other areas. And I'm kind of sensing that's what's happening. And here again, your partner, but this is you this time. I feel like that sense of togetherness, sense of control. It's like water through your fingers. It's just like it's not something you can hold on to, not something that you can really grasp or really touch. It feels like everything is out of your control, but just temporarily. It's not that dramatic, okay? It's just going to be a result, I think, of some things, I'm seeing the same energies, so I'm really kind of like, well, the relationship aspect is carrying over. Maybe things kind of fumble up at work. Maybe you kind of like mess something up, or things just kind of aren't going right. Or maybe even just kind of some of the family relationships, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, kinds of things. You kind of lose touch or stop calling, or, you know, maybe fight or quarrel a little bit, not a lot. I'm not seeing any other energies of, you know, upheaval here. Again, another very peaceful reading for you. But just with that in the center, it kind of speaks to it. We have a kind of a lot of majors. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of the 9. Temperance again is, to me, it speaks to how you're handling things. I don't see you getting upset. I don't see you getting all riled up. You know, true to form, earth energy, which I love. You know, calm, cool, collected. It's not the end of the world. You know, a little bit more even keel, right? A lot of times, you know, people are like roller coasters, up and down, but no, earth signs are more, they don't let the highs bring them up too high, because they know they don't want the lows to bring them down too low. They just want to maintain a status, you know, a norm. They want to maintain that equilibrium, which is one of my favorite words with this card. And I often see this as being that meeting of the heart and the mind as well. And finding that balance, all right, and filling up the cups equally, and, you know, feeling sure-footed, 1 foot on the earth, 1 foot in the water. Being open to possibility and open to what may come, and not trying to control the outcomes. Okay, and I kind of like the Ace of Swords. In any reading, it's good, but especially in just a general reading. I was reading somewhere, I forget where, and it really spoke to me, the image of the sword piercing through the crown which we wear upon our heads, that we... Was I reading it or listening? I forget. But, you know, the crown representing the ego, representing everything that we think we know and everything that we think we are. And the sword piercing through that ego, piercing through with truth and actuality and reality. And having that level of understanding. Interesting that this is coming out in the same position as the Tower in that last spread, because it's, you think you're one way, you think things are a certain thing, and then all of a sudden they're not, and all of a sudden you're being pierced with reality and pierced with a true understanding of what actually is. And any tunnel vision that you've had, any sense of denial, or, you know, not admitting things to yourself, it all disappears when the Ace of Swords is around. This is not always the most friendly energy. Swords are not cuddly teddy bears. They are weapons. They are made of steel and iron and metal, and they are sharp, and they are meant for protection and defense and war, and that's why they exist. They're there to prove a point, kind of thing. So something will smack you hard, but your handling of it, with the exception of maybe a little bit of upheaval or a little bit of disorganization, okay? It's very, I want to use the word professional, very mature. I see the separation, even just the distance between the two energies. Interesting that it's like a queen each time, and the Empress, okay? I'm kind of sensing like the Empress is a more sensitive person in your life, and it's a little bit more internally focused, I guess, the feminine polarity, that kind of thing, which can make it difficult to read, right? And the Empress is the creator of things. The Empress is someone whom gives life and produces things. And, you know, she's surrounded by a beautiful garden and trees, and she's pregnant. Is kind of the thing with her, is the pregnancy and the creation of life itself. But again, internally focused. Queen of Cups, internally focused, feminine polarity. She's a water sign, right? Or the water energy. But one thing with the Queen of Cups, though, is there is that element of control with her. She kind of is like, I kind of see her as a meddler, right? Someone that, like, I kind of see it as like the stage mom, or the mom that is very involved in the PTA, and or the mom or the wife that tries to, and I'm saying wife and mom because it's a female, but this could be male or female. The person that tries to get people to do things, the micromanager. There we go. That's the perfect word. She's the micromanager. That micromanager for you, is, I'm seeing this as you, might kind of get in your own way, because when things aren't really going your way, there might get a little bit of frustration there. But other than that, not a lot to really worry about, not a lot of density here. This is not a very heavy reading at all. There is you know, with the star and the moon in this, you know, side of the spread, we have really beautiful cards, the Four of Wands and the Six of Wands, cards of stability and foundations, and your maintenance of that stability. You might really be in a situation where you are more stable than you think, okay? Or you may need to dig your roots down a little bit deeper and take a greater hold of the earth, a greater hold of the ground, to keep you grounded when things might be struggling. And it's going to just, your circumstances, I think, are just going to force you to be more controlling. This detail-oriented micromanagement personality might come out, because you're like, I just can't have things going wrong. Like, I really need things to go right. I really need everyone to do what they're supposed to do, be on time, da, 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 da. And it's not because you're trying to control them. It's just because you're trying to maybe control or contain a little bit of the chaos in your life. It's not going to backfire. It's fine. It just kind of might be the type of personality that you're taking on. I see success for you. Six of Wands is that card of victory, where things go well. Even though it might not feel like it, things in your life are going well for the most part, or there will be success for you. Wish fulfillment with the star, hopes and dreams, and it's such a fantasy message, you know, where all your hopes and dreams can be attained, and it's so, whoa, you know. But really, truly, you know, you have goals, you have things in your life that you want to do. If your partner does sort of take on this Empress vibe, it's something that you can do together. I see an alignment of things. If this is someone new, again, I'm speaking to it in romance because I very clearly see it as the same people. But I see that alignment and the parallel paths between the two. I think that you both want the same things. And it's something that you both can work for together, despite some of the things that might come out. And the moon in the reversal, I don't think that this is a very scary place that you're at. Like I said, you're handling the stress like a champion. You're not getting worked up. You're not, like, it's like easy peasy, right? It's just what you have to do. It's just your duty. It's your obligation. It's just the way it has to go. In the meantime, you know, making sure T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and things are the way they should be. And with the moon, I feel like whatever darkness there is, again, I'm not sensing that much, but whatever feeling of unknown or feeling of like unsafety, maybe insecurity in your life, I think it will quickly disappear. It will quickly dissipate. The fog will lift and things will just work out. This is such a light reading. I can't even believe it. It's, you know, there's nothing really to worry about. Yeah, even the or the High Priestess, which I kind of mentioned in that last spread, she didn't come out, but I mentioned her. She is the keeper of the moon, also in reverse, the keeper of the truth. Truth is coming out, all right? There are not going to be any secrets. All the information will be dispersed. Everything, you'll know everything. I think you'll make sure that you will know everything. I don't know, I'm kind of sensing that these are both you, the King and Queen of Cups. Very emotional, right? Maybe that's where the drama is, just more on the emotions. But on the surface, you're like, no problem, everything's fine. Just kind of surrounding this Empress person, almost as though this person is... Like, I feel like, let me just say what I think, because that's just what I have to do. I feel like this person doesn't care, right? Like, this person is just doing their thing. They're living their life. They're doing things normally, but in some way, maybe they're hurting you, and they don't know it. They don't acknowledge it. They don't realize it. This could really go with that Five of Cups, that you're like kind of reaching and hanging on to something. And then... here you are, I kind of feel like you're surrounding this person, like almost like an intervention or a, what's the word, when you kind of pounce on them and you kind of take them by surprise. And it's very like aggressive and very, you know, like your energy is very much toward them. You're crossed off, you're defensive. This person is doing something to bother you. This person is doing something that is affecting you and that is affecting your world. Now, I don't know what exactly. It could be the stuff we talked in the last reading. You know, maybe there was some infidelity and that's causing, you know, but everything else in your world is fine, but this issue is causing a stir. But I feel like you work everything out. I feel like everything ends peacefully. With the Four of Cups, Four of Pentacles, I don't usually see this with this card, but honestly, if you are feeling something, Magician, Ace of Swords, if you are feeling something and it's probably right. Honestly, I never see this card speaking to me this way, but it's like, hang on to your gumption, right? If your intuition's speaking to you, which it is, I think that you're right about something. Not to attack someone without proper evidence or anything like that, but don't let go. Don't shove it under the rug. Just hang on to it. Attack it. Like, it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. Don't just let it pass you by. Okay? It needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, there's no resolution there. And things will just continue to fester and continue to get worse and worse and worse. So... It's weird. Like, I'm kind of like, this person is doing something to bother you or to affect you, but I don't really see them like doing anything too wrong. Maybe with the last spread, maybe, but in this spread, no. So I don't know. I'm going to leave you with that though. I hope it, I don't know, I hope it didn't scare you off too much, but I hope it provided some insight for you. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.